Hey, it's Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your host of the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 152, Teaching from our Millionaire Summit, How to Raise the Bar in Life and Business. So I'm so excited to share this episode with you. It's actually a teaching episode that I recorded a while back when my team and I hosted something called the Millionaire Summit. We have women coming to us all the time wanting to hit that coveted 7-figure milestone. And so we decided to teach them exactly how to do it. Now, I'm not sharing the entire summit with you, but I am sharing the portion that I taught, which was all about the mindset of hitting the 7-figure level. We talk a little bit about the limiting beliefs that might be holding you back from that milestone, what your money ceiling is, what you actually want, and what action is going to help you reach that amazing goal. Now, I want you to listen to this and really think about what resonates with you. And then there's some really clear action steps and homework for you to take at the end of the episode. And if you're interested in learning more about hitting that 7-figure milestone, this is the perfect opportunity for you to apply for our I Heart My Life Mastermind. You'll hear more about that in just a minute, but I want to make sure that you are taking some sort of action in the direction of your dreams. After all, it's super easy for anyone to say that they want to become a millionaire, but very few people actually do. The good news is more people than ever before are hitting that 7-figure level. But again, it's about taking it from that dream into action. And that's what makes it a reality. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. This episode was sponsored by the I Heart My Life Mastermind. The I Heart My Life Mastermind is perfect for you if you already have a business and you're looking to scale. We cover tons of different topics. We cover marketing strategy, revenue planning, team, processes, everything you need in terms of mindset, high performance, really taking care of yourself as well as your business, events, publicity. We literally have 7 coaches under one umbrella to support you and give you the answers to all of your burning questions. We host regular weekly workshops where you get your personal questions answered. We have retreats. You have a private Slack channel where you get to ask questions 24/7. You have an extensive resource bank that helps you put in place our cash method in your own business, and much, much more. This is one of the most inventive programs around. I don't know anyone else offering the service that we provide. So if you are interested in growing your business and transforming your life, definitely book a call with us to learn more. Go to iheartmylifebooking.com and learn more about the I Heart My Life Mastermind. So you are in the right place, everyone. You are here for the Millionaire Club Summit. If you are an aspiring millionaire, this is the right place for you. So I want you first and foremost to really own your dreams and desires. That's what today's training is all about. Well, one of the things. And so right from the get-go, let's really own what it is that we desire. If you want to hit 7 figures, own it. If you want to hit 6 figures, own it. Whatever that number goal is, I want you to really own it and trust that it's meant for you. So I'm Emily Williams, in case you weren't sure, and I'm the founder of I Heart My Life and a 7-figure success coach. This training is all about you raising the bar. So one of my clients, which I'll tell you the story about her in a little bit, we were having a coaching session and she was talking about raising her prices. And she said essentially that she was creeping up that price. She was raising it little by little. And I said to her, do you want to be the woman who creeps or quantum leaps? And that's my question for you today as well. So we are all capable of quantum leaping, which essentially means not taking it step by step, but really leaping into that next level. And that's really what I desire for you. And that's what's possible. And I'm going to share how to do that on today's training. So I want to hear who wants to quantum leap instead of creep. If that's you, type in the comments. And if I'm looking down, that's because I'm looking at your comments on another screen. Great. Okay. So let's dive into a little bit more about me. I'm not going to go into my full-blown story because we don't have time for that. But essentially, like I said, I'm a 7-figure success coach. I run a company called I Heart My Life with my amazing husband, James, and he'll be presenting in a few hours. You're not going to want to miss that. And our favorite thing in the world is to help women bust through fears and limiting beliefs so that they can become their most successful. They can go to that level that they're meant to be at. So we love working with women who have huge dreams and want to create a life and business better than their dreams. So if that's you, you are in the right place. And you're going to hear me talking a lot about possibility mindset today. And what that means is that we believe that anything is possible, and we help our clients generate that belief as well. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, I'm getting some comments about who's ready to quantum leap. We have Denise, me, Kalina, yes, Vicky, QL equals yes. Awesome. Beautiful. So this is me on the stage at Money in New York City. So I filmed a segment for them. I've been featured in other publications, as you can see here. And truth be told, I never thought I'd be the girl in the yellow dress in front of a sign that says money. Although my dad claims that money was my first word, which I like to believe. I never expected myself to be there, because the truth is, when I started my business, I was $30,000 in credit card debt. I was $90,000 in student loans debt. And I did not expect myself to reach the financial level that I reached so quickly. I always thought in the future I would hit 7 figures. 6 figures was the main goal I had in mind. But the truth is that things actually happened quicker than I expected them to. And that's what I want you to start to expect for yourself as well. So here's a little bit more about what's been happening since I started my business in 2014. I've been able to host events with companies like Kate Spade, which has been a total dream. My husband and I have been able to move into a much bigger house versus the closet-sized apartment I started in. I've worked with tons of clients around the world, some amazing people like Erica you see here, I'm hugging, and gotten to host incredible events in California, New York, France, London, all around the world. So it's been really exciting. I've also been able to work with the world's best mentors. This is Brendan Burchard here. He's the world's top high performance coach. He's worked with people like Oprah Winfrey herself. We have some amazing people in this mastermind here in this picture who I've had the pleasure of working with, as well as Robin Sharma in the center. So I want you to really understand first and foremost that everything I just shared about myself, and again, that's the very condensed version of my story, everything I've shared is possible for you too. So oftentimes we hear success stories, we hear about people doing incredible things, and we think that it's not possible for us. Or on the flip side, we know it's possible for us, but we get really annoyed that we're not there yet. And it ends up that we resent people who are examples of what's possible. We feel jealous, and we allow that to take us down. So I want to invite you to just be someone who understands that whatever you see out there is possible for you too. And even if you feel that jealousy, use it as inspiration. Thank that person for showing you what's possible, for reminding you what it is that you really want. And like I said, I hit 7 figures in my first 18 months in business. That was not what I had expected. But again, that's another example of what's possible. That's another example of quantum leaping. So remember, I'm human. I'm just a girl from Ohio. So if I can do it, you can too. Now, there are things you're going to hear from me, as well as the other wealth mentors today, that really set us apart. I recently realized that there was a certain phrase that I've been saying year after year that I no longer agree with. And that phrase is that there's nothing special about me. Now, I'm not saying that anymore because that's not true. There are a lot of things that are special about me, but there's also a lot of things that are special about you. And what we're going to be demonstrating here today is excellence and this next level of success that maybe you haven't reached yet. And that's okay. I want you to know it's there for the taking, but I also want you to understand that there's a chance that your dreams are going to be a pipe dream. There's a chance that you won't reach that next level of specialness, if that's a word. And the reason I'm telling you that today is because a lot of times people sign up for these summits, they sign up to get all this information, yet they don't actually take action on what they learned. And so you're going to see a theme today. All of the wealth mentors who are here, all the ladies in this group who are participating, they're going to take action to get the results that they want. And I want you to be in that group. I want you to fall into the group of women who takes massive action, who integrates, who really shows up, not just someone who learns and, doesn't actually do anything with it, right? James will tell you today, knowledge is just knowledge without integration and without action. So I want you to set yourself apart. And that means really taking what we're teaching and implementing it after today, hit the ground running. That's what has to happen. Right? We're going to talk about mindset today. So I don't want your fears. I don't want your limiting beliefs. I don't want your lack of confidence to hold you back. You have what it takes inside, but you have to show up massively. Here are some amazing people who we've worked with previously. I just wanted to share this again as inspiration. So Anna came to us. She did not have success in her business. She was a lawyer at the time. She'd worked with tons of coaches and companies before, but nothing was happening. When she joined our program, she was a little bit nervous about it. She wasn't sure that she was going to be able to make those dreams that she had a reality. But fast forward to now, she has a multiple six-figure business. She was able to leave her job as a lawyer and run her business full time. Same with Lauren. She's actually approaching 7 figures. And while working with us, she was able to create a second 6-figure business. This is what's possible for you guys. So tell me in the comments. I want to hear from you. I've been talking a lot. Why are you here? What is your intention for today? Why did you show up? There's a million other places that you could be, but you're here. So what's your intention? Let me know. See lots of amazing people here joining. Thanks for coming live, guys. So what's your intention for today? Comment below this video. And if you're watching the replay, think in your head, what is your intention? Why are you here? Because the truth is we want to speak our reality out loud. So our thoughts and our words create our reality. So I want you to speak out loud or in your minds what it is that you desire. Why are you here? So today I want to tell you what my intention is for you. Here's what you're going to learn. So you're going to learn how to go to the next level personally and professionally by raising the bar on your possibility mindset. You're going to learn how to increase your capacity for wealth and become the woman you were born to be. You're going to learn why I believe you're capable of doubling your goals. I'm going to show you the ways in which you might be blocking yourself from achieving. And we're going to also remove those blocks, which I know you're going to be super excited about. Cool. And at the end of this training, you will feel inspired to go to the next level in life and business, and you'll have tangible action steps to implement right away. So let me circle back here. So intentions for all of you. Emily says reaching 7 figures. Leah says, I'm ready to up-level my business. I want to be creating massively accessible content to help people on their spiritual journey and need the structure and support to get there. Awesome. Felicity says, I want to know the best way to start my own business. Never been my own boss before, so that makes me nervous in my own right. Thank you for admitting that. Vicky says, I really need to solidify my belief in myself to enable me to reach 6 figures. Awesome. I love that awareness. Haley says, ready to break through my first 4-figure month. Awesome. Kalina says, realizing I can reach 7 figures. That's huge, right? It starts with that belief. Jacqueline says, to understand more about growing my business by automation to gather more time in my life for family and leave work and reach 7 figures within 2 years. Great. That's very specific. Great. Janine says, same as your clients you showcased, attended lots of programs and coaching, just not reaching that next level. I believe you can help us do that. Awesome. Sarah says, I want to get clear on my strategy, attracting my first paying clients. Amazing. And Felicity says, my intention today is to make that first big step in building my own business. Great. So before we move forward with all those amazing intentions, thank you to everyone who shared. It's so incredible to read that. Turn off your phone. You might be watching on your phone. So in that case, don't turn it off, but turn off anything that might distract you. And I'm hoping we have some time for Q&A. Yasmin is literally right after me. So I'm going to speed through this to give you everything that I have to give you, but hopefully we'll have time for Q&A as well. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, the number one thing that I want you to do to really move forward, stop creeping, and really quantum leap is to get clear on your desires. Now, stick with me. If you think you already know your desires, please keep listening. So I want you to take a look at the survey that we had you fill out when you applied to be a part of this summit. So as you can see, we color-coded what your desires are, what your next 90-day desires are. What's the biggest problem that you need to solve? That's what we asked you. We color-coded them into people who wanted leads, sales, and clients, people who wanted clarity, people who wanted automation. We have other in there. We have mindset, launching, creation, team, and time. These are categorized based on what you answered, right? Okay, so as we scroll down here, as I said, we had almost 500 people join this. Keep in mind, green is sales and clients. Red is creation. So as we go down, look at all this green here. This is what the majority of you said you need support with over the next 90 days is sales and more clients and making more money, which is super exciting because that's a lot of what we're talking about here today. But I also thought this was really, really interesting. And I'm going to tell you why now. So let's go back here. So what I noticed upon looking at the information that you provided us with, which by the way was so helpful, is that nobody was super specific about the amount of money that they wanted to make over the next 90 days. Now, maybe you didn't know that you were meant to be specific, or maybe, which is probably more likely, you don't have a certain amount in mind. Okay. So stick with me here. I also realized that mindset was very rarely mentioned. And maybe you don't have a desire to do mindset work. Maybe you don't know the purpose. Maybe you don't know that maybe there's something holding you back from hitting that next level sales goal. But I really want to support you in understanding what's going on beneath the surface today, which is really going to be that key that we need to focus on to helping you remove those blocks. So like I said, what that survey tells me is we need to go beneath the surface first. I also want you to know, or I want to know, I should say, how you really feel about your goals. We need to be much more specific, and we need to understand why you haven't already reached that milestone. So many of you shared that you've been trying to move forward for a while, yet it seems like it's not happening. So I want to really understand why that is. So let's first take a look at what it is you actually want. And again, we're going to be really interactive here, so please don't be shy. So it's a simple question. What do you want? But it brings up so much stuff for people. It brings up like all that muck beneath the surface. And most of us actually make ourselves wrong for our desires. So real truth here. I was recently listening to this audio all about money mindset. So whenever I'm working, I often have audios in the background, which is a success tip for you. I just go to YouTube, I'll Google money mantras, I'll type in Abraham Hicks, or I'll listen to podcasts, whatever it is I want to listen to. And one of the trainings that I was listening to was talking about really owning your desires and actually being grateful for them, which we'll talk about in just a second. And I realized that there's some things that I've been putting on the back burner, or I've been making myself wrong for, or thinking to myself, you know what, Emily, you already have so much. Why do you need to go to the next level? Why do you need more? Aren't you ever satisfied? Like that was the dialogue in my mind. And what we teach our clients here at I Heart My Life is to be the observer of the mind. And that means looking from the outside in at what your mind is telling you, because you are not your mind. In case you didn't know that, you are not your mind. Your mind will have a replayed playlist over and over and over of thoughts, harmful beliefs, limiting beliefs that you've been thinking for decades. And that's what was happening for me. We're going to the next level in many ways in our company, and my mind tries to keep me small. So that's what we're talking about here. I hope that you guys can understand that, and I'm sure that you can resonate with that to a certain extent. So I want you to really identify, how are you feeling about your desires? So many of you said you want increased sales, but how do you really feel about that? If we take a second and we literally could just close our eyes and just ask ourselves, if we envision ourselves at the 6 or 7 figure level, who are we really? What's going to happen? How are we feeling? What is the core belief around that level? And what I mean by that is so many people are saying they want something, yet they're judging people who already have it, or they're freaking out about it. The fear of success is real. They're worried about what people think. They're worried about how their family or friends are going to respond. They're worried that it's going to change them to make that amount of money. So if you have all these beliefs going on, under the surface, and that's the foundation that you're trying to build your business on, as you can imagine, that's kind of shaky, right? So I want you to ask yourself, how do you really feel about what you want? Are you lying to yourself? Really? So think about your goal here. Okay. So you all listed out certain reasons why you're here today. You filled out your application. We know what it is that you want to create over the next 90 days. But really think about that, especially when it comes to a money milestone or a life change. What are the fears or insecurities that are coming up for you around your goals? And if you feel open, please post those in the comments here below the video. So what comes up for you when you think about your goals? If you're being really honest with yourself, is there anything that's holding you back? Is there anything that's feeling a bit icky or a bit scary? Or is there any way in which you're feeling a lack of confidence? I know for me, one of the biggest pieces that I was curious about when I started my business was how it was going to affect my relationship with James. Right? I didn't grow up with a mother who was an entrepreneur. And so I didn't know about that dynamic. I didn't know what was going to happen when the business grew and when I became more successful and when I was working a lot. Okay. So anyone here have any thoughts around what's coming up for you around your desires. The first step is understanding what your desires actually are. What's that next level for you? Maybe for some of you, it's starting your business. Maybe it's creation. We saw in that survey, a lot of people wanted to create new products. Some of you want to hire a team. What comes up for you around team? That's a whole nother can of worms. So we got to figure out what's going on beneath the surface that might stop you from moving forward with your desires. So Felicity said fear of failure. That's a huge one, right? So if we have fear of failure, the mind will say, don't do that. Don't move forward. You might fail. People might laugh at you. Everyone's going to see you can't do that. You're not good enough, right? And then we stop. Then we stay stuck. And that's not what I want for you. Sarah says, I'm afraid who I will become when I'm successful. I fear I will lose people I love that surround me now. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very common one. Leah says, I have a hard time feeling like being the sales aspect. I have a hard time feeling like being the sales aspect is aligned. Going from, I know I can help you to here, buy the thing feels stressful. Sharon says desperation overall. Okay. I love all this honesty. Let's definitely talk about a few of these really quickly. So when it comes to this fear of what's going to happen, who you're going to lose in your life due to success, I want you to really understand, take it from someone who's lost a lot of friends throughout the process, that the friends that come in and replace anyone who falls away are going to be spectacular. They're going to be more aligned with you. They're going to be your people. They're going to be the people you've been craving, right? And the people who truly matter, they will understand you. It might not be an overnight process, but they will understand what you're doing. They'll understand your mission. They'll get you. And so you have to start to trust that you are being guided in what it is that you truly desire to do. And that those desires, we're going to talk about this in a second, they're literally dropped in because that's what you're meant to do. It's not even a question. It's just, it's a no-brainer. That's what you're meant to do. And once you start trusting that, then you can trust that the people in your life will be there if they're meant to be there. And if not, they will fall away. And frankly, the fact that we all think that our relationships are meant to last an entire lifetime, that's a little bit, that's a bit iffy to me. Why would you be friends with someone from the time you were little all the way up through adulthood? I mean, that's great if that happens, but we all change over the course of our lifetime. So it's natural for there to be less congruence between friends as you grow up, right? So we don't need to make that wrong. And then in terms of feeling whether the sales aspect is aligned, I just want to talk about this one really quick as well. So when it comes to sales, I want you to flip the switch on sales. And that's a phrase I will use throughout this training. So I want you to get really comfortable with it. All that means is that you change your thinking around it. So when you think about sales, I want you to think about it as something you do for someone, not to them. Okay, make that change. You have something they need. You have the cure that they're looking for. Okay, once you make that change, things will really start to shift. So as I said, continuing on, here's what I believe about your desires. And this is why you don't even have to question. This is why you don't have to let those fears creep in. This is why you don't need to allow that doubt to run the show. I believe your desires are meant for you. And I believe they're already there for the taking. So there's something called the law of polarity, which basically means you can't have yes without no. You can't have light without dark. You can't have rich without poor, right? And they're all on the same spectrum, right? So you might be over here at, $10,000 a month, and you want to be at $40,000 a month or $2,010, whatever the reality is. But it's all along the same spectrum. And so whatever you desire, it's already there for the taking. And so the sooner you recognize that, and the sooner you recognize that it's right there and available for you, just like those other people have shown you, they've taken it, they've stepped up to the plate, it's available for you too. The sooner you realize it's right there, the sooner you will manifest it into your reality. Here's the other thing I believe about our desires. Most of us are playing small, which is why I want to talk to you about doubling your goals in just a few minutes. Most people also think that they want something, but there's other stuff that's blocking it that doesn't meet the eye. So maybe you're judging people who have the thing that you want. That's a surefire way to block what it is that you're saying you desire, because you don't want to be negative towards yourself. You don't want to judge yourself. And that's exactly what your subconscious sees as going to happen should you get that thing that you desire. Okay. That's a pretty heavy one, but hopefully that makes sense. So you need to get really clear, crystal clear around what it is that you actually want first and foremost. A great way to do this when it comes to money mindset is think about business class. This is James and me a few years ago on one of our first business class trips, which is obviously a huge deal. It was one of our big goals. And one of the things that comes up for a lot of people is this belief that this is a waste of money, or it's possible for someone, but not them. Now, I want you to think about that continuum again. I want you to think about that spectrum that we just talked about. Picture an aisle going down a plane, right? You're walking, you're getting on the plane, you're passing those first class or business class seats back to economy. Now you see people, maybe you see James and me, maybe we're on the plane, maybe you see us sitting there, and you know that we're just humans. You know that I started my business with nothing. You know that James worked in TV for 12 years and left his job and came to work with me, right? You know all this stuff. And so, you know, we are just human. And that means that it's possible. What we've done is possible for you too. So us sitting in those seats, it's possible for you too. It's humanly possible. That's what I want you to start to think about in terms of all of your desires. And if there's anything that's coming up that's telling you that they're not possible, this is where we need to do the work to really shift that. I want you to first identify what those blocks actually are. And by the way, it might not be your blocks. It might be other family members' beliefs. It might be worries about how society is going to judge you, right? It might not even be your beliefs, but business class is a great way to check in with what you're feeling about money, about wealth, about creating unlimited abundance, or first class, I should say, right? So I want you to check in with that. I'll give you some homework around this at the end. Here's another piece that's really key when it comes to your desires. I want you to show future gratitude for what you know you're going to be achieving. Now, this might sound really weird. I know that James will probably talk about this, but there's an amazing documentary on Netflix called Heal. And it actually talks about this specific thing, about having gratitude for something even before it happens, how it literally changes the chemistry in your body because it tells the body that something's on its way. And it sends certain things around the body, I'm not going to get into the science of it, that lifts your mood and creates a more positive vibe. So you are actually more likely to look and see opportunities and to attract things into your life because you have an awareness and you expect them to be coming in. Now, we're not going to have time to go super deep with this, but this is something I want you to start to practice. And here are a few little phrases that I want you to start to implement in your life. So here they are. What if you thought about your desires, thought about what you want for the next 90 days, and you said to yourself, thank you for giving me everything I desire and something more. Thank you for always allowing me to have the capacity for wealth. Thank you for showing me what I really want. Thank you to my desires for helping me raise the bar on my capability. This is the one that really struck me. Thank you to my desires for helping me raise the bar on my capability. So when we want something else, instead of making ourselves wrong, what if we thanked whatever we believe gave us that desire, whether it's God, the universe, ourselves, whatever. What if we thanked ourselves for that desire because it was actually that desire that helped us raise the bar? You better believe that my desire for financial freedom, my desire to be able to retire my husband and allow him to join us in the business and follow his own dreams, you better believe that that fueled me. Right? So our desires are our fuel. And so when we deny them, when we make ourselves wrong for them, then we won't reach them because we don't want to judge ourselves. And if we're judging those desires, that's exactly what's going to happen. So what if you showed gratitude for your desires before they arrived? And also just because they exist, they're helping you raise the bar. What if you said, I'm so happy and grateful that everything I want is on its way to me? Use your money or desires, whatever that thing is, use it as a coach. Use it to fuel you, to get you to go to that next level. Is this all making sense? Are you guys getting a lot from this? Let's read the comments here. So Jacqueline says, I want business class to be my normal. I've tried it a few times and loved it. This will be my new reality for flying. And my business is based on travel and is international. Amazing. Janine says, Jacqueline, I hear you. And then, okay, let me read Jacqueline's. Let's see. Jacqueline says, oh gosh, I already have lots and lots of friends. Firstly, from being a serial expat, then in business, don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing or feel I have surpassed them and they're not in the same place anymore. Yeah, it's totally normal, honestly. And you guys are in this amazing group. Now you have new friends. Jacqueline says, I hear you. And then others are on the block feel threatened by us newcomers. Thank you for sharing, guys. Cool. So I'm going to keep going because I already know that I'm spending a lot of time with you and we have to prep for Yasmin, right? Okay, step number 2 is to get specific about what it is you actually want. So like I said, when I watched your survey, when I saw your survey, I loved all your answers, but they were not very specific. So let's just be real here. Increased sales is not specific enough. You wouldn't go into a store like Nordstrom's or Saks or wherever and just say, well, I'll take anything. Just give me clothes. You would actually go and pick out what it is that you need, right? That's what I want you to do as you move forward in your business over the next 90 days. So let's also look at your capacity. So say you went into a store and you asked them to get you $1,000 worth of clothes, right? That would be your capacity. That would be what you were prepared to spend on that day. I want you to look at what your capacity for wealth is right now. And the best way to do this, the fastest way to do it is to think about how much money you've made so far in your life in a year-long period, or even in a month. If you're running a business and you have your highest month ever in sales, think about that month. Okay. So for us, we have a 7-figure business. We've been hitting 7 figures the past 4 years in a row. Right now we're looking to scale. So like I said earlier, we are increasing that money glass ceiling. So comment below, what is your biggest money year in terms of revenue or your monthly sales? I want you to get that number in mind. Okay. So what's the most amount of money you've ever made? So I want you to ask yourself about that next level. So maybe the most amount you've ever made is 5,000, but you're looking to go to 10,000. I want you to really sit and ask yourself, what would happen should you hit that $10,000 mark? Who would you be? How would you feel? What would be your reality? That's what I want you to ask yourself. All of these really, really important questions. Okay, some of you said my biggest month ever has been 3,000. Jacqueline says 220,000. Judy says 20K a month. Felicity says my current job is the highest salary I've had so far. Awesome. Great. Okay, so think about those numbers either now or when you're watching the replay. And now think about the number that you want to reach, like I said. So do you have any limiting beliefs around that next level for yourself? Do you have any fears? Do you have any doubts? Do you have any insecurities? I know a lot of people come into our programs and they have this fear around what's going to happen should they make a lot of money. They feel like, what if someone takes it from them? What if they have to pay way more taxes than they've ever paid before? All of these things start to come up and run the show and stop us from moving forward. That's what I want you to identify. I also want to identify whether your business is actually capable of bringing in that amount of money. Do you have the team in place? Do you have the program or the course or the product that's going to help you reach that goal? Do you have the list size? Do you have the audience? And of course, miracles are always possible. I'm not saying that everything has to be completely neat and lined up in a row for you to achieve this. There are quantum leaps, and that's what we're talking about here. But I want you to really understand what your capacity is, because you're telling me that you want more sales, yet your calendar is completely full and you actually don't have the room to have more sales. You're going to self-sabotage. Remember, you don't want to set yourself up for failure, and the subconscious knows that you don't have the time or the energy or the team or the capacity to bring in more sales. And if that's the case, then like I said, you're not going to reach that goal. So I want you to take a look at your limiting beliefs, as well as whether you're setting yourself up for success. What is your overall capacity? What does that bucket look like? Okay, is this ringing true for anyone? So Leah says she's reading all of your monthly income here and saying, now I'm getting fear, like, oh God, what are these ladies doing to make that much? That's not a limiting belief. That's awesome. That shows you what's possible. So send them love and thank them and say, oh my gosh, ladies, thank you. You just showed me what was possible. I had no idea. Right? I remember when my first coach told me that I could make my yearly salary, which was about 25,000 pounds or $30,000 as a matchmaker in my online business in a month. And I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I really loved the sound of it. And I was grateful that she showed me what was possible. Okay. Jacqueline says, it's scary, but exciting. It's scary because I do wonder Can I bring in this money? Is my business able to do that? I know there's a lot of interest, but it's a very niche business. Yeah. So you need to think about what chapter you're in right now. We can all have these massive goals and I want you to reach them, but also think about, do you need to be the woman right now who makes $10,000 a month and then move on to 20,000 and then 30,000 and then 50,000? The sky is the limit. But what chapter are you in right now? What feels really good to you and what feels attainable? And then get very specific on that number. Again, we were not specific when we answered out that application, and that's okay. But I want you to get specific after this training. What is that specific number that you're looking to reach? Okay. Once you have that in mind, here's the fun part. I want you to double that goal. So is it 20,000 a month? Is it 100,000 a year? I don't care how you do this, but I want you to double your goals. Double your goals. And here's why. So hopefully James won't mind, but I'm totally using this example here. So this is someone named Ross Edgley, and he's someone who was able to swim around the UK, and he did it in 5 months. So he was in the water for 157 days for 12 hours at a time. And James listened to him on a podcast interview or something and was sharing the story with me. And I knew I had to look him up and tell all of our clients about him because it's an absolutely incredible story. And rest assured, I'm not asking you to swim. I'm not asking you to spend 12 hours a day exercising, but I am asking you to raise the bar. And that's why Ross is here in this training. So basically what he believes after research, spending tons of years researching this and looking at human performance and seeing what makes people successful and obviously achieving huge things like he's personally achieved, is that most of us stop at 40%. So we actually have 60% more available to give or to do or to achieve than we allow ourselves to do so. Okay, so I want you to think about yourself right now. How often are you stopping? How often are you selling yourself short? And that's why I'm asking you to double your goals. What if you actually have double the capacity for wealth than you think you do? What if you actually have double the capacity or double the amount of desires? What if you've double the capability? As I said, in the beginning of this training, for me, I actually was able to hit my goals faster than I thought possible. I just wanted to hit 6 figures by my 30th birthday. I did it 10 months earlier than that. Okay. So what if you are capable of more than you're allowing yourself to believe? And I say that deliberately. Right now, you're keeping yourself small. Right now, you're keeping yourself sick. Right now, you're keeping yourself stuck. And I don't say that lightly, and I say that with so much love, but I also say that because I want you to shake. I want to shake you, not physically, but I want to shake you emotionally, mentally. I want you to really understand what's possible for you. Okay. We stop at 40% because our mind tells us we can't continue. Think about any time you've worked out or you've, done something that's been really strenuous, or even when you wanted to send out a consistent amount of emails, or you were in a launch. Right? Your body's going to tell you, oh, you got to stop. You can't do this. Or it's scary out there. Someone's going to make fun of you. Or nope, you can't run another mile. Or nope, you can't give up that food. Right? That's your mind trying to keep you stuck and in the same place. We also hear other people telling us we're crazy, and that makes us stop. And sometimes we believe all of that. I want you to stop. And I talked about being special at the beginning of this training because this is what's going to set you apart. There are tons of people who probably wanted to do what this amazing man did, but didn't do it. I know he swam a significant amount of miles with a jellyfish on his face without even realizing it. Okay, guys, there are no excuses. And especially if you are an entrepreneur and looking to do extraordinary things, you need to become extraordinary in terms of your mindset and your actions. So you need to stop holding yourself back. You are capable of far more than you realize. Okay. Now, what that takes is a commitment to yourself. So you better believe, if I just go back here to this slide again, you better believe that this person committed to himself. He committed to his goals. And that's what sets the mentors that you're going to hear from today, myself, James, all of them, apart. Those women who are saying in this group that they're hitting 20K, 40K, 60K months, that's what sets them apart. They made a commitment to themselves. You would not believe how many clients we work with who don't show up to calls. They say they're going to do something and they don't. They don't put themselves first. They don't exercise. They don't pay attention to what they eat. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I do make commitments to myself. I make commitments to this business. I make commitments to the excellence that I desire to showcase in the world. I make commitments to showing up for you, to sending emails. I've sent Monday emails for the past 4.5 years, guys. That's a lot of emails. The other week when our website was having issues, I spent days redoing the website. I stepped in, I stepped up, right? That's what it takes. So I want you to ask yourself, are you really committing to yourself? Are you moving forward consistently? How often are you not following through? How often are you stopping? How often are you not channeling your highest and your best self? How often are you allowing your fears to get in the way? These are just some questions that I really want you to answer, whether it's now or in your own time. Leah says, I'm hyped up to be interacting with these awesome biz ladies. Amazing. Great. Okay, so what's going on for you guys right now? So are you starting and stopping? Are you committed to yourself? So James always says that we are our first client and we are our most important client. So if you are out there working with clients, are you devoting yourself to your clients, but not to yourself? Are you devoting yourself to things that don't actually matter and things that are not moving the ball forward, and you're letting your business go down the drain because you're scared? I don't really care what the reason is, but I want you to be able to move past it. And I want you to recognize that you're keeping yourself in this place. If you haven't hit your goals yet, there's things that you're going to learn today that will support you in doing so. But you have to take action and you have to be fully committed. You have to be all in, right? Are you dabbling or are you all in? Where are you not committing? And this again requires you to be the observer. You have to be on the outside looking in. You have to be really aware of where you're holding yourself back. Okay, so this is what the most successful people do. They know what it is that they actually want. They uncover what might be holding them back or keeping them stuck, and they do the work to release that and transform it, right? They consistently show up and they move past that growth edge, that moment that says you need to stop or you can't do anymore, or that thing that looks like there's really an edge on the mountain, right? They might take the leap instead of just stopping. And then they're consistent and they commit to themselves and what it is that they say they're going to do and what they actually desire. They commit to the vision. So I need to ask you, there's this, Brendan Burchard always talks about this at all of his events. There's a small percentage of the room that's actually going to be successful once they leave. This is our virtual room here. And so if you want to join the world's most successful, I want you to commit to yourself. I want you to commit to being on the trainings today, whether it's live or watching the replays. I want you to commit to taking action. And that means doing the internal work. It's not always just about the strategy. Action can be the internal work. When I was looking to generate a lot of money in the beginning of my business and really move forward with these big dreams, every single day I was journaling. I was laying in the shower, listening to these money mantras. I just told you nearly every single day, I'm saturating my mind with all these new beliefs. James and I are always reading. We're working with coaches. We go to conferences. We have mastermind partners. Right? I might be exhausting you when I list out all of those things, but we love what we do. And that's so, so important here. So I want you to get clear on what that desire really is. What are the specific numbers around it? And how are you actually going to do that? How are you going to stop holding yourself back? How are you going to set yourself up for success here? How are you going to stop dabbling? That's a huge one for people. Okay. Felicity has lots of jazz hands up. Cool. So again, like I said, making money and going to that next level, it's not about another strategy. So commit to your vision, keep moving forward, even when it feels like it's not happening. One of my mentors in the beginning, so for those of you who don't know, I should back up. I had a period of 54 no's in a row. People who didn't want to work with me, 54 of them said no, right? And I could have stopped. And there were plenty of days where I wanted to, but my mentor said, you are like a pot on the stove about to boil. It's about to happen. You're about to see those bubbles. And that's what I have to consistently think. Even now, if it feels like things aren't happening, even now when I lose faith, even now when my mind wants to send me down that rabbit hole, that's what you need to build. You need to build that bounce back ability, which James will talk to you about today. I need you to continue to hold the belief in yourself. And you can do that when you believe that your desires are dropped in and that they're meant for you. And because you have the desire, that already means you're capable. That's the really cool thing about desires. That's why I get goosebumps when I talk about desires, because they're there for a reason, and they're an indication that you're already capable. Yeah, you might need to acquire another skill. Yeah, you might need to learn something new, but you're already capable of doing it, right? And you have to believe that everything you want wants you back. This is one of my favorite quotes from a book called Your Invisible Power. Do not fear to be your true self, for everything you want wants you, right? What if you really believe that? What if you operated with that mentality? Everything you want wants you. Everything is figure outable. I use that daily. Thank God for Marie Forleo in that phrase. Everything is figure outable. Okay. Before we get into Q&A, I need to actually see what time it is here. Let's see. Okay. I've got like a few minutes. Type in a few questions. If you have questions, I'll answer 2 questions. Here's your homework. Here's your action steps. So again, do this after the replays today, or do this after all the trainings today, and you can go back and watch the replays. So you need to answer these questions. Number 1, what do you really want? Number 2, what limiting beliefs are holding you back from those desires? Number 3, what's your money ceiling at the moment? Number 4, what's the number you want to shift into? So what's the actual amount of money you want to be making? Number 5, what's the number if you doubled it? And number 6, what consistent action will get you there? Great. So take a screenshot of that. The replay will be up as well, whatever is best for you. Judy says, oh my God, I thought I was the only one totally addicted to growth. I'm always listening to money mindset or mindset mantras, podcasts, and books. I can't stop. I love learning. Awesome. All right. I'd love to read your biggest takeaway as well. As you let all of this soak in, you can share it now or share it as you're watching the replay later. It's been an amazing training. I loved every second. Thank you for being so interactive and for just really showing up for us and for yourself and for the other amazing women in this group. So I want to remind you that there are still 5 more trainings today. So make sure you're on. All of them are going to be spectacular. I can vouch for all of these amazing wealth mentors here. You are in for such a treat. So Yasmin is next after me, Yasmin Kashefi. She's actually a member of our team. She's absolutely incredible. She's a business strategist. She's a team and hiring expert, and you are going to love her. Trust me. So I'm going to turn you over to her. Judy has one question I'm going to answer really quick. How do you know what the right goal is? So the right goal is just whatever you desire. And then you take a look at the capacity in your business right now. And so maybe the goal is, I don't know, $50,000 months. So you take a look at the plan to get there. You make the plan and you ask yourself, am I willing to do what it takes to get there? And if that's a yes, great, move forward. If not, maybe it's a 6-month goal or a year-long goal, and you get to move it on down the line, right? I hope that helps. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for incredible training. I hope you loved today's episode. And as I mentioned at the beginning, make sure you take action now. That's the only way that you're going to reach that next level of success and create the financial freedom that you are craving. Until next time, I'm Emily Williams, and thank you so much for being a part of the I Heart My Life show. We hope you loved this episode. Thank you so much for being an avid listener of the I Heart My Life show. Take a second and leave a review. It would mean so much to us, and we read all of them. And for further inspiration and life and business tips about creating a life that you love and achieving massive success, definitely follow us at I Heart My Life on Instagram and at I Heart My Life Now on Facebook. See you next time.